There's another debut that happens on WWE SmackDown this past Friday. The debut, finally, of Jacob Fatu. Now, this is a name that we've been hearing. If you don't follow MLW, if you're not like a hardcore wrestling fan, you've never seen him wrestle, but maybe you've heard his name occasionally. Makes a huge impact on SmackDown. You watched it. What did you think of the way it was handled?
Now, if you're going to get a guy over, that's the way you get him over. They gave him the complete end of the show and ended it up with that big dive off the corner to the table. And who did he dive on? Cody?
Yeah.
The top babyface. He took him out. So, and that just makes Solo Sokoa and his Tongan friends and Jacob Fatu, of course, they'll all be together, makes them a strong, strong group. Almost what you got to have. That's what you got to really need is those strong heels. Without strong heels, you don't have business at all. That's why years ago, let's take Memphis. Well, let's take Florida. Dusty Rhodes, he was the top baby face in Florida. And Dusty was running those heels through, running them through. Because they'd go after Dusty, beat him up, he'd start bleeding, then they'd work around the loop for about 3 months, 4 months. Then they'd kind of get a tag team partner, then they'd go at it again. Florida was a lot like Memphis. You know, when a big heel came from Lawler, he'd get 2 months to get over, then they'd do their run, usually in the summertime, because that's when business was the best. And they would really hit it strong to September. Then it would go down a little bit. And then it would be pretty good through Thanksgiving and Christmas. Why did it go down in September, you think?
Back to school, maybe?
Yep, back to school. But a couple of years there, when I was there in the early 80s, we went through September like it wasn't even there. That's how hot it was. So, but without the strong heels, you don't really have that sustainable business. Now, when Roman was there, if Roman was on the card, you had might have a pretty good crowd, a pretty good house, gate. But now if you put 2 or 3 of those guys that have been pushed strongly in WWE like they're doing now, it's spread out. Now almost every match has somewhat of an edge to it. So when you go to see a 6-bout card or a 7-bout card, every match has a backstory. And that's what they need. Because nothing is worse than going out there and seeing 2 guys just get in the ring and wrestle. Now, we used to do that because the wrestling business wasn't as advanced as it is now. We used to do that and go through that. But now, the way things are, you have to spread it out. And this probably started in the early 80s too. And you started giving more guys more heat, because the more heat the underneath heels have, the more easily it is to integrate them into a main event. Because the people saying, well, they've seen over the weeks that this other heel is moving up, this other heel's getting stronger, this, that, and the other. And, you know, fans' minds, and now we've give them just a snapshot of what could be. And that memory is not very long. So once you get them there, now you got to tell the story. But Fatu will get over big time. And of course, we're all gearing up for the return of Roman Reigns. And when Roman Reigns comes back, that will be big, big business.
Do you remember how you... Okay, let's say you've got someone coming into whatever territory you're booking, if it's Florida or Memphis, not Memphis, but Puerto Rico, wherever it was. How would you have booked a Jacob Fatu to be a huge threat straight away? Would you have done it exactly like WWE did, or how did you end up doing it usually when you were trying to introduce a new major character into proceedings?
Same way. He has to make an impact on his first appearance. He has to make a big one. Now, next week, he's going to have to make a big one too. So you got to follow it up. So he'll kill somebody next week, I'm assuming. That's what you got to do with him, because he is so much more violent than even Sokoa is, I think, and the two Tongan kids. He's more violent than they are. So they got to keep him in that range till he hits those top baby faces. If they feed him a baby face, he'll eat him up, because you want him to be ate up. You got to make him a monster, because, you know, they're trying to make the, who's the kid of Rick Steiner? What's his name?
Braun Breaker.
Yeah, they're trying to make him, I think they're trying just a little bit too hard with him, but he's being known for, it doesn't take him long to beat someone. He just goes out there. To me, I call him the second coming of Goldberg. But he's made an impact, and Fatu made an impact. But now, since they got these strong heels, all they got to wait for is Roman to show back up. They just got to tell the story they're in and wait for Roman to show up. And that can take any kind of a form. Like Roman wants to slide in there and take over the bloodline like it was. They tell him, no, you're not going to do it. And that's immediate tension. And we'll see where they go from that. Now, The Rock, I'm sure, I don't know if he'll be back by then. I don't think so. But he will have a huge impact on what they do. And between him and Triple H, I got full faith in those guys that they will take their time, and they will. And when a company like WWE gets hot, they usually stay hot for a while. Because we used to do a thing called hot shotting. Well, yeah, you can hot shot and maybe do one house, and then it'll just fall off quick because they don't follow it up. But even though we're watching in WWE now, the Fatu segment on SmackDown, it's the same as a hot shot, but it's following all this other great context before it. So he fits right in. So I expect great business in the future for WWE.
Very quickly, just before we move on to the next thing, as I was recording with Stevie earlier today, he brought up a point that there was one thing he didn't like. And I won't do this every time. Stevie said this, and then Dutch replies, kind of thing. You know, it's not going to be that incestuous of a podcast thing. But he mentioned something, and he said, "I don't think Cody should have got even one punch on Jacob Fatu." Is that something that is a problem for you?
No, what the people are going to remember is Cody was down at the end. I think Cody had to fight back. If he doesn't fight back, he didn't even. I mean, he's your top babyface. And if a guy just comes in and lays him out without any kind of opposition, I think that makes Cody look bad. So I think the way it ended up that Jacob Fatu, is that his name, Jacob?
Yep.
Jacob Fatu looked monstrous. And Cody, even though he tried to fight him, it was too much for him. So, and I think Fatu, he probably has some anger management problems too. I think we might need to see him in a. That'd be good, right? When did this anger first start, Mr. Fatu? he just beats the shit out of the psychiatrist. But no, I think Cody was fine throwing a couple punches back, because that would be natural anyway.